Israel, a tiny mark on the map, but the deepest scar in human history. On a globe, Israel is barely visible. But in the world's story, it is everything. When wars break out, Israel is named. When peace returns, it's still debated. Because this is not just a country. It's the crossroads of the world's three greatest religions. A holy land, a haunted land, a land of prayers that never stop. Small in population, narrow in land. Yet Israel is one of the world's most advanced tech powers, where ancient faith lives side by side with artificial intelligence, where conflict and innovation coexist. And today, I'll take you inside this paradox, where you'll visit the tomb of Jesus Christ, discover the rituals of the Jewish people, and learn what never to do if you step on this sacred soil. If you had to choose one word to describe Israel, would it be faith, technology, or conflict? Palestine. Once home to Muslims and Jews living side by side, until 1948, when war ended and tragedy began. Nakba, the Great Exodus, forced hundreds of thousands of Palestinians to flee their land. Since then, two peoples, two dreams, in constant collision. Today, Palestine is split between the West Bank and Gaza, while Israel, the world's only Jewish state, keeps rising. Jews, once exiled and scattered minorities, turned hardship into strength, unity, and unmatched ambition. They invested in education, in human capital, in the future, and they remain the only nation in history to revive a dead language, Hebrew, once only heard in prayer, now spoken by an entire country. Hebrew, once used only in prayers, has been revived as the official language of Israel. Meanwhile, Aramaic, the language Jesus likely spoke, is fading into silence, heard only in a few remote villages in Syria. Both languages are written from right to left and from top to bottom. The Old Testament was penned in Hebrew, and many familiar names, Sarah, Mary, Anna, Michael, John, Raphael, trace back to it. Behind that culture stands military strength. Zahal, the Israeli Defense Forces, has never lost a war. With fewer than 10 million people, Israel ranks among the world's top 20 military powers, surpassing nations like Canada, Spain, Vietnam, or Mexico. It is believed Israel possesses between 80 and 400 nuclear warheads, with the capability to deliver them by air, submarine, and ballistic missile systems. Israel isn't just the land that revived a language. It's also one of the world's leading drone manufacturers, with machines like the Heron TP, Hermes 900, and Skylark watching silently from the skies. If you stroll through Tel Aviv or Jerusalem and see people with weapons, don't be alarmed. Military service is mandatory here. Men serve at least 32 months, women 24. Armed soldiers in uniform grabbing coffee, perfectly normal. They may belong to elite units like Shayatet 13, naval commandos specializing in sabotage, rescue, and underwater ops, or to the Skylark unit, piloting UAVs for surveillance, support, and reconnaissance missions. Israel also boasts over 4,000 tech companies, ranking third globally, just behind the US and China. Israeli engineers helped build Apple hardware, Intel chips, and tech used by Google and Microsoft. In Israel, education is not just a right, it's a belief. It's the second country in the world with the highest number of university students, just behind Canada. From a young age, children are taught to question, to research, and to turn ideas into action. But if you visit, there are things to keep in mind. Don't talk about politics. Here, everyone carries a history, a personal scar. understand kosher food. Only animals that chew cud and have split hooves. No pork, no camel, no mixing meat and dairy. And every pot, every plate follows a sacred rule. Never touch Orthodox Jews of the opposite sex. Unless they're your spouse or family, it's strictly forbidden. And most importantly, don't wander into nature. Israel is still a country in conflict. Mines may remain. And dress modestly, for every stone, every street might be holy. Avoid carrying religious books or Arabic writings when visiting Israel. In a land shaped by tension, even a book can raise suspicion. Israel follows the Hebrew calendar, a lunisolar system that began with Genesis. The Gregorian year 2020 corresponds to the Hebrew year 5780, calculated through ancient astronomical and mathematical algorithms. Yom Kippur, the holiest day in Judaism, is a time for repentance and atonement. A 25-hour fast is observed, cars disappear, streets go silent, and a nation pauses in reflection. If you dine at a restaurant, don't forget to tip. 15% is customary, because service wages often depend on gratitude, and Jerusalem, declared by Israel as the eternal, indivisible capital. After the Six-Day War in 1967, the world responded by moving embassies to Tel Aviv until 2018, when Donald Trump ordered the US Embassy returned to Jerusalem. If these facts made you see Israel in a whole new light, hit the like button, share this video, and drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to uncover more mysterious places around the world with us. Jerusalem, the sacred city for three of the world's major religions: Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Muslims believe it was here that the Prophet Muhammad ascended to heaven, and that early Muslims once faced Jerusalem during prayer before turning to Mecca. If you visit Israel, remember, etiquette varies. For Muslims, the left hand is considered impure and used only for hygiene, unlike Jews or Christians. Jerusalem also holds the Mount of Olives cemetery, one of the oldest still in use, with over 150,000 graves, some over 1,000 years old, and the Western Wall, Judaism's holiest site. Built by Herod in 19 BC, it once stood near Solomon's temple. Today, over 9 million prayer notes are placed in its cracks yearly, then respectfully burned by a rabbi near the Mount of Olives. And believe it or not, Israel's postal service has a Letters to God department for letters sent from all over the world, addressed simply to God, Jerusalem. Jerusalem, not only the holiest city for Jews, but the sacred heart of Christianity. Here stands the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, also known as the Church of the Resurrection, believed to hold the tomb where Jesus was laid after the crucifixion. But the gate, it's not guarded by Christians. For centuries, two Muslim families, the Nusaybee and Juday lineages, have held the key, opening and closing its ancient doors each day. Inside lies the Etiquette, a small structure built over the tomb. Millions believe this is where Jesus once rested, a place of eternal pilgrimage. Just 6 miles south, in Bethlehem, now Palestinian territory, stands the Church of the Nativity, built atop the cave where Jesus is believed to have been born. Crowds still line up, waiting to step down into the stone cave that marked the beginning of hope, faith, and salvation. From the Middle East to North Africa, even from distant Ethiopia, Black Israelites, Ethiopian Jews, are part of Israel's diverse identity. In Mea Shearim, West Jerusalem, live the ultra-Orthodox Haredi Jews, known for their black suits, wide-brimmed hats, thick beards, and iconic side curls called payot. They wear the kippah as a sacred reminder that God is always above them. and Israel's birth rate, one of the highest among developed nations, nearly 3 children per woman. Haredi women alone average 7. Having children isn't just tradition, it's a religious and cultural duty, embraced even by older working women. Israel is one of the few developed nations with rapid population growth. Unlike countries struggling with birth rate crises like Japan, South Korea, or Italy, the average salary in Israel is around $3,000 per month, higher than many countries, though the cost of living is also steep. There's a common myth that all Jews are wealthy, but it's just that, a myth. While some famous figures like Sergey Brin of Google or Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook are Jewish, most Jews earn close to the national average, and many live below it. Israel is also home to the world's lowest freshwater lake, the Sea of Galilee, and the lowest saltwater body, the Dead Sea, during Hanukkah, the Festival of Lights. Israelis consume over 23 million sufganiyot as part of a sacred tradition. Sufganiyot are round donuts fried to golden perfection, filled with jam or cream, then topped with powdered sugar. Israel has the most museums per capita in the world, over 280, from art and archaeology to science. Welcoming millions of visitors each year, it even has its own Stonehenge, the site of Gilgal Rephaim, 42,000 basalt stones in concentric circles, over 5,000 years old. In the city of Ashkelon, archaeologists discovered the largest ancient dog cemetery, over 1,300 skeletons, mostly Canaan puppies. Passover, or Pesach, commemorates the Jewish escape from slavery in Egypt, with unleavened bread, called matzah, eaten as a symbol of freedom. At age 12 or 13, Israeli children celebrate bar mitzvah, reading the Torah aloud, marking their spiritual and moral responsibility. In 1991, Israel was attacked by Iraqi Scud missiles. That's why every home in the country must include a safe room capable of resisting chemical warfare. Despite its small population, Israel has produced 8 Nobel laureates in science and 1 in literature. It also leads the world in scientific publications per capita. In Israel, civil marriage doesn't exist. Only religious marriages are officially recognized, whether Jewish, Muslim, or Christian. Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year, is celebrated in September or October. It commemorates the day God created the world, with the blowing of the shofar, candle lighting, and festive meals. If these facts made you see Israel in a whole new light, hit the like button, share this video, and drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to uncover more mysterious places around the world with us. Tel Aviv has the largest collection of Bauhaus buildings in the world. Over 4,000 were built during the 1930s and 1940s. That's why it's called the White City. The 7th day of the week, or Sabbath, is sacred in Israel. From Friday sunset to the sighting of 3 stars on Saturday night, traditional Jews refrain from working, using electricity, or even cooking. Israel also developed its own martial art, Krav Maga, an intense close combat system used by its military and security forces. In Jerusalem's Malha neighborhood, there's a biblical zoo, home to animals mentioned in the Hebrew Bible, and known for protecting endangered species. Because cooking is forbidden during the Sabbath, Jewish families prepare slow-cooked meals the day before, like cholent for Ashkenazi or hamin for Sephardic Jews, simmering until the next day. In Hamat Garda, you can relax Roman-style at the second-largest bath complex ever built in the Roman Empire, over 2,000 years old. On Israel's beaches, people play matkot, a fast-paced paddle game that many call their unofficial national sport. In Israeli slang, a friar means a fool. Someone easily manipulated. Israelis pride themselves on getting the best deals, the top quality, and the fastest shortcuts. There are over 180 McDonald's in Israel, but only 50 are kosher certified, meaning they close on the Sabbath and Jewish holidays. And if you've ever wanted to dine under the sea, head to the Red Sea Star, one of the world's only underwater restaurants, located 5 meters below the surface. Beneath the waters of the Red Sea Star can host up to 105 diners in a surreal underwater setting. Israel is the only country in the world with more trees now than it had 50 years ago, thanks to a bold policy that transforms deserts into forests and orchards. It's also one of the few nations without a formal constitution. Instead, it has basic laws, individual chapters awaiting unification into one cohesive document. In Acre, the last Crusader stronghold in the Holy Land, you can walk through ancient tunnels and grand halls built by the legendary Knights Templar. If you've ever visited Israel, or have more curiosities to share, drop a comment below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell, because the next video will blow your mind. If you want to continue discovering untold mysteries, don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell, because the next video might change the way you see the universe.